your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Drive will have softball for you today on 100.7 The Score, Texas and Tennessee. If Texas wins that game, they advance on to the College World Series Finals, and that's what Texas Tech is hoping to do. Should Tennessee win, there'll be Game 2, which would immediately follow Game 1. We'll have both those games on 100.7 The Score. Red Raiders and Oklahoma Sooners tonight at 5:30 with first pitch at 6, and then Game 2, if necessary, would be at 8 o'clock tonight. So be looking for that today on 100.7 The Score and Double T 97.3. Rangers put up some offense this weekend, Jamie. At least two of the games.
Yeah, that doesn't really... I just came out of the weekend feeling yeesh for the Cardinals.
Okay.
Yeah. But good to see, like you said, the Rangers score some runs and put some things together, at least on Friday and Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, they put up 11 on Friday, and just in listening to a little bit of that game back and forth, they put a lot of stock in the Rangers having an off day where they could just completely get away on Thursday. And, even after the game on Sunday, some of the player post-game comments, at least with Marcus Semien and even with the manager, Bruce Bochy, there was some comments about just having that opportunity to get themselves right going into that series with the Cardinals. But as Eric Nadel pointed out, I mean, they won a game, lost a game, won a game. It's just every other game, it seemed like. But you finish up that homestand 3-3, and you get the win yesterday. Just how about this for a stat? I've told you about one-run stats with regard to the Rangers. But when the Rangers score 4 or more runs in a game, just 4, they're 21-3 now after yesterday's win. So with the pitching that they've had,
yeah, it's been really good.
Doesn't take a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't take a whole lot to win.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob deGrom was good again yesterday. The Rangers won 8-1. They got some big insurance runs in the ninth inning. Excuse me, in the 8th inning yesterday. They got 5. So they headed into the bottom of the 8th with a 3-1 lead and appeared to be kind of dominating things just with the way that the Cardinal bats weren't going. But deGrom went 6 innings, 4 hits, a run. It was earned. Walked 3, struck out 4. And again, another big performance for him. And another guy that is really coming on for the Rangers is Hobie Milner. He pitched like 5 games in a row. I mean, it's just crazy what he's doing out of the bullpen for the Rangers.
Yeah, good bullpen arm is coming in at the right time and giving them some life.
Yeah, no question. No question. So the Rangers are off tonight. They'll play in Tampa tomorrow. We'll have it for you on Double T 97.3 at 6 and play-by-play at 6:30. They're starting the games in Tampa this year now that they've gotten into, the rainy season, at 7:30 Eastern time to try to avoid those late afternoon rains.
Okay.
Because they don't have a roof there anymore because they're playing at Steinbrenner Field because their roof blew away in the hurricane. So they're trying to kind of beat the rain, so to speak, by delaying the start of the game to get past the stormy afternoon that they have there in Tampa along the coast.
So you're saying they're doing a pre-rain delay?
Well, they're trying to...
They're delaying for the rain.
They're doing
a pre-rain delay.
They're doing a pre-rain delay, right. And the other thing that the Rangers have been doing, the Rangers have done this a couple of different times, where usually on their off day, it would be the day that they would fly out. But they flew out after the game last night, so they get their off day in Tampa. So they get, I guess, a full day to put their feet up, in Tampa today before playing tomorrow. So that's been kind of something a little bit new that the Rangers have done.
Yeah, I bet they probably work out too.
Yeah, no question. But I mean, I guess that just gives them an opportunity not to have to, travel and then get settled. And, they're young guys, so they probably, enjoy kind of hanging out by the pool or, going to the beach or, who knows, going to Universal for all I know.
Yeah, because when I think of young guys, I think of Bruce Bochy.
Well, I was thinking of the players.
Oh, we're just talking about the players.
Yeah, I was thinking about the players. I'm sure that
not the staff and everybody else either.
Yeah, I'm sure that the manager he'll probably grind it out. Probably doesn't matter what city he's in. He'll probably just grind it out. And the other thing that's kind of weird, you know what the Dodgers are doing this year, and other teams are now looking at this. The Dodgers are taking 2 planes to every city. They have a player plane, and they have a staff plane, and coaching hangers on or whatever. But basically, the players now, the other teams are looking at this. Obviously, it's very expensive to do this, but apparently it's given the players like some freedom and feel like they can just kind of chill out and not have to worry about things. And then if there's any kind of a mechanical failure with one plane versus the other plane, the player plane can leave and the staff plane can go whenever it's ready. I guess when you have money like the Dodgers, you can do things like that.
I guess so.
Yeah.
It allows them to be more relaxed.
That's what they say. Yeah. That's what they say.
The coach is making them run calisthenics.
No,
on the plane.
People that they said they don't have
to worry that they can get completely hammered drunk and not have to be around other people.
I'm sure there's probably some people that are around. They have probably a little bit of supervision.
I have no problem with what the Dodgers can do whatever they want. I have no opinion, or so can every other team. I don't think it's helping them win games, or lose games.
They cite the fact that they have a little bit more peace of mind, or a little bit more relaxation, or a little bit more, time away from their superiors. I guess I have no idea, but they cite it as something that has helped them have success.
It's not the roster that they put together of superstars.
It's not an all-star at every position they have.
It's that they're not 17 rows away from the traveling secretary.
Yeah. Right. Telling you what I read. Astros also won yesterday. They beat the Rays.
I may have an article for Chuck to read about a bridge for sale in San Francisco. He might be interested. I heard it's going pretty cheap.
Rangers are now 29-31 on the season, but they're only 4 back of Seattle. And Houston, a team that is just a half back of Seattle, they're now 32-27 on the season.
I feel like the Stros are coming on a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting some pitching, getting some things kind of going all together for them.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is June the 2nd. It's the first Monday in June 2025. Here's Jeff McGuire with this day in sports history.
1935 is where we will start things off today, guys. Future Baseball Hall of Fame slugger Babe Ruth announces his retirement.
Really?
How old do you think he was when he retired?
35.
Higher.
Really?
I was going to say 41.
Close, 40.
Oh.
Right on the button at 40. 1942. When you look up honest-to-God heroes, you can start with this guy. Boston Red Sox star Ted Williams enlists as a U.S. Navy aviator.
Very cool.
Keep in mind, this was prime of his baseball career.
Mm-hmm. And he could have
easily gotten out of it.
Circumvented that, yes.
1973. French Open women's tennis. Margaret Court of Australia beats American teenager Chris Everett 6-7, 7-6, 6-4 for her 5th and last French singles crown.
I was going to say, Christy was getting ready to take over.
1987. Mariners draft Ken Griffey Jr. number 1 overall.
Good pick.
Inspiring, quite possibly one of the most famous baseball cards of my generation, from Upper Deck.
It's a tough one to get.
Card number 1.
It was one that you really wanted.
And in 2014, Cameron Smith, 3-hitter, helps Texas Tech beat Miami 4-0 in the Coral Gables, Florida, for their first super regional berth. Big time. Happy birthday to this guy. Caleb Killian, turning 28 today.
Nice.
Dana Carvey is 70, Andy Cohen is 57, and Kyle Petty is 65. And on this... Go ahead. Oh, you look like you had something.
I got nothing.
And on this day, 1954, Senator Joseph McCarthy charges the communists have infiltrated the Central Intelligence Agency and the atomic weapon industry. This was after everything he had done in a semi-last-ditch effort to regain his popularity from the earlier in his political career. This is, however, before his tongue-lashing when he accused the U.S. military, specifically the Army, of having communists involved. It's near the end for Joseph McCarthy, and that is this day in sports history.
All right, time for local winning word here this morning. It is brought to you by the Home Zone, making your house a home, in Double T 97.3. All you have to do is go to doubletsportsnetwork.com, enter this word. You could win $500 like many have already, like Blanca and Stephanie and Esteban and Michelle and Donna and Jody with a guy, David, Jasmine, and Carl have all won $500 from Double T 97.3 in the Home Zone. You could win, too, if your lucky local winning word is this one, Roadrunners. Roadrunners as in one word, like UTSA, Roadrunners.
Roadrunners who beat the Longhorns twice this weekend and knocked them out of their own regional. How about that?
Yeah, that's good news.
Number 1 and number 2 national seeds getting knocked out, but good for UTSA. They were a really good team this year, and quite frankly, they looked better than the Longhorns in both of those games.
So go to doubletsportsnetwork.com, enter in Roadrunners, and you could be a winner. And just remember, it's a local contest, and so we want local folks to win, and so we want to spread the cash around this fine city of ours. So make sure that you get to participate. All you have to do is answer a couple questions. The more times you enter, the more of a chance you have to win. That makes sense, right? Roadrunners is your word this morning. Go to doubletsportsnetwork.com. So lots of surprises on the college baseball front. You had 2 Big 12 teams advance, right?
Only 2, West Virginia and Arizona. West Virginia was trailing late in all 3 games and somehow found a way to win all 3 of them. Good for them. Yesterday they're down. Man, what a game! They're down 6-1 in the 4th. They're up 7-6 in the 5th. They're down 12-7 in the 8th. They score 6 more in the 8th and win it 13-12. Crazy. And Arizona just cruised through theirs.
So you're probably not surprised by Arizona. Was there anybody on the Big 12 that you were surprised by that didn't make it?
I thought TCU and Kansas had good chances to advance. I thought they were good teams, and both of them went 0-2. Yeah. So that was a little bit of a surprise. I didn't think anybody else would probably make it.
But if you'd have said West Virginia beforehand,
I did not think West Virginia was going to make it. I really don't think that West Virginia is that good, and I still don't.
But they found a way.
They found a way. 3 games, so credit to them.
They found a way. 651.
I do think Arizona's a good team.
Okay, and they could make some noise this weekend.
We'll see.
Okay. I learned something yesterday, Jamie, and this is very, very trivial. Okay, it's extremely trivial, and you guys may have already known this, but there was a debate about this on Double T 97.3 yesterday afternoon. This is after the Ranger game. The debate was: do you have any issue or problem, or are you okay with it being called the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Final?
I have no issue.
Okay. Did you know that one was NBA Finals and one was Stanley Cup Final? I did not know that. I did not know it was separated by that.
I think it's always the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like it's always the Stanley. That's part of the moniker, which is why it's the Stanley Cup Final, as opposed to the NBA, where it's Eastern and Western Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
So there were people debating this.
Oh, they had a little discussion about it. Yeah. I was very comfortable with the conversation.
Sports day.
Well, I mean, they'd already debated a bunch of other stuff and things along those lines. I mean, it's Sunday afternoon, and just was
this Nadal and Hicks that were doing this?
No.
Okay.
This is the Fox Sports guys. This is after the ball game. Yeah, it was.
I didn't know that it's just one final in the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, Stanley Cup Final, NBA Finals. So you can.
I don't know that I'll change.
I don't know that it bothers me.
Yeah.
No, it was. I found it intriguing. It was like, oh, I didn't know that.
Fascinating.
Yeah, right. All those things. I think it could be, some bar trivia. It could be a potential conversation starter. Hey, NBA Finals begin this week, and the Stanley Cup Final begins this week. To see if anybody catches on with that. Around your cooler, coffee pot, at your place of business.
If they don't explain it to them. They don't want to know.
Get into that.
They're not that involved.
Discussion. Okay. Well, there you go. We'll have Red Raider softball on the air for you today at 5:30 as they take on the Oklahoma Sooners, and then game 2 is, if necessary, and you're in the old catbird seat, Jamie. I mean, you really are. You're in the catbird seat. I mean, all you have to do is win, and you're in 1 of 2. Feel like you don't want to give Oklahoma that momentum of having that opportunity to knock you out.
Yeah, I completely agree. Plus, if you're playing in the second game, that's a whole bunch that they're seeing Nigeria Kennedy in one day. So, yeah, I would if it got to a game 2 in that series tonight, or in that matchup tonight, then I would think I would flip my who I think is the favorite to Oklahoma. I really would.
Make you nervous, right? Hour one.
It's so different in baseball where, one of those teams would have used one less set of pitchers, and so it matters. Doesn't matter as much as softball. Everybody's basically throwing the same person every time.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Thank you for being with us today with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Reminder, we'll have Tech softball on the air for you tonight at 5:30 as they take on Oklahoma for the right to play for a national championship. That's a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It's a nice ring to it. Let's see here. Big key to the steal of home on Saturday was the batter staying in the batter's box long enough to block the catcher's view of the runner coming from third. Jamie talked about that quite a bit earlier. Perfect pieces in place. Genius. Okay.
That's really good. No doubt.
I did know this, but thank you for clarifying that muchacha is the female version of muchacho. I had 16 hours of college Spanish. So I did learn that O was masculine and A was feminine. Okay. I mean, my first soiree with Spanish didn't go so well. My teacher was from Cuba. She had an accent. The professor was, and that 5-hour D really played hell in the old GPA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Was not conducive to being positive. It was a wake up call for me, Jamie. It was a big wake up call. Let's see here. If you have a thought or additional comment, you can. We've talked about the UCLA home run call. So we've seen that. We've talked about that. 7:17 this morning here on the Morning Drive. I did want to get
Did you see how Oklahoma State's game ended yesterday?
I did not.
So their season ended this way.
Okay.
Ninth inning, they're down a run. They have a hitter strike out with 2 outs, but the ball gets away from the catcher. Okay?
Okay.
Remember, we now have the green safe base over there at first base, next to first base.
And you like that, right?
I think it makes sense. Whatever. I'm not a huge fan.
Okay.
I'm not against it for it. It is what it is.
I got you.
Okay. Well, the ruling is that in a ball that gets away from the catcher or whatever, the first baseman chooses which base he wants to go to. Okay. So if the ball kicks to the right of the catcher, which it did in this situation, the first baseman can go to the green bag and put his foot on the green bag. And it is the job of the base runner to adjust and then go to the white bag.
Okay.
Okay, that is the ruling. That is.
Do you like that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Again, you're avoiding contact over there. He clearly goes to the inside to foul territory, okay, to set up for the throw from the catcher, which is late and bounces in, okay, and gets away from the first baseman. The runner does not go to the white bag. He steps on the green bag and goes down the first baseline as he runs through the bag. Okay?
It's not good.
The second baseman quickly runs over, scoops it up, tags the base runner who's trying to get back to the bag, and he tags him, but he gets on the bag, and the umpire calls him safe because he said he didn't turn in. They were assuming they thought he turned in. But the truth of the matter is he never touched the correct bag. Even though he touched a bag, he touched the wrong bag. Okay, in a normal situation, he's supposed to touch the bag on the outside of the field, not the white one. But when the first baseman elects to choose to put his foot on the green bag, he has to touch the white bag. They replayed it and overturned it, and Oklahoma State's season ended that way.
Wow.
Craziness.
Was there a little brouhaha after that, or I guess there really wasn't anything they could do?
What? Josh Holiday wine? What? No.
Who's the bigger whiner, Josh Holiday or his dad?
I don't know. His dad's a whiner. He's just a moron.
Okay. He's kind of a windbag. That's kind of what he is.
Yeah. No, it was that was rather interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
If he'd have just done what he was supposed to do, it could have been really, really interesting after that, right?
Well, I mean, they're just down by 1, 3-2, and they had a base runner on.
Yeah. They'd still be alive, yeah.
Well, I mean, you still have to do something.
Right, but I meant alive in the game, though.
In that point, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Red Raider track from over the weekend, Jamie. Just a couple of things. On the men's side, Oscar Rodriguez advanced in the discus. He threw 195.7. He will attend the national meet for his first time in his career. He's a senior. In the individual sprints, there were 5 different tickets punched, okay? 2 in the 400 meters, which is fascinating, and 2 in the 400-meter hurdles. We're really good there. In the 400 meters, Deshaun Boyce and Shamar Utter each running in the same heat. They went 1-2, and so they got 2 of the top 3 automatic qualifiers.
Nice.
How crazy is that? In the 400-meter hurdles, Oscar Edlin and Mario Paul ran in the same heat. Edlin placed second, so he got an automatic qualifier, while Paul finished up with the fastest non-automatic qualifying time, going 49.66. And then Malachi Snow qualified in the 100 meters with a time of 10.04 seconds. And here's the unfortunate thing for Malachi Snow. In the 100-meter hurdles, he fell and did not make it to the finals. Well, he would have if he had it. The 4x400 meter team also qualified to nationals. They finished third in their heat and got one of the 3 automatic qualifying times. And their time is number 5 in Texas Tech history. Number 5. I mean, you think about some of these things where you go, well, it's the fastest blah, blah, blah. But think about the success that Texas Tech track has had over the years. And you hear about things that this time was the fastest, and this time was the fastest, and like in the distance running, in the steeplechase, Titus Kemeru, he also qualified for the Nationals in the steeplechase. He had the second non-fastest qualifying time, going 8 minutes 36 seconds .83, but that's the second best time in Texas Tech history, and he now owns the second and third best times all time in Texas Tech steeplechase history. I like the steeplechase. It's kind of a fun little.
Yeah,
it's quirky.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
It's quirky, but it's kind of fun.
Yep.
Then on the women's side, they finished that up on Saturday. The women's triple jump, which we've done really well at over the years, gets 2 in it. Victoria Gorova placed second overall. She lost the top spot by 1 centimeter. You think about landing in sand, and you miss by 1 centimeter. Her leap of 40 feet 10 3/4 inches is number 3 in Texas Tech history. The NCAA indoor national runner-up, Tamaya Washington, finished 6th, so she's also qualified. In the discus, you had 2 move on, Shelby Frank and Zoe Burleson. Frank went 200 feet 10 inches. She placed second. And then Timotop Adeshina, she goes back to Eugene as she finished third a year ago, tied for first on Saturday in the 100-meter hurdles. Excuse me. That was in the high jump. I'm sorry. Adeshina is a high jumper. She went 6 feet and a half inch, and then the 100-meter hurdles, 2 Red Raiders move on. Destiny Smith and Tony Ann Forbes. Smith was at 13.01. That's a personal best for her. And then Fanny Arendt also advanced on to the national meet as well. So, you got a lot of people going, but you're going to have to fill some lanes, as Coach Kitley would say, to get to the finals to have yourself a chance to win. But you got people there, so
that's good.
Yeah, it's good. See if you can get a top 10 national finish, top 5, maybe win the whole doggone thing. Jamie's question of the day is next.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, guys, we're looking at the Red Raider football schedule, and I think most of us believe that this season could be a really, really good one. But at the same time, as Red Raider fans, we've or fans of really any team, you don't want to get ahead of yourself too much, right?
Sure.
You don't want to count your chickens before they hatch or any of that good stuff, right?
Have you met the guy sitting next to you?
I'm a bad counter of chickens.
So what is the game this season that when you win, you will definitely be on board with, yep, we're going to the Big 12 championship game? Like, you win that one and you're like, yep, we're in. There's no way we're not going.
All right, there's a couple candidates, and they're back-to-back weeks. But I'm going to start with the road game. I think you go. I don't care how good or how bad they are. You seem to have not been able to have success there. But you go into Bill Snyder Family Stadium and win on November 1st against Kansas State. I mean, if we're waking up on Sunday, November the 2nd, with a win over the Kitty Cats in Manhattan, Kansas, I'm feeling really good about getting to Arlington and playing for a Big 12 championship.
Okay.
I think Chuck stole my answer. Because I'm looking at the rest of this. Would I say that after Oregon State? I wouldn't. Great non-conference at that point. Let's see how we do in Big 12 play. Utah didn't do anything last year. Houston doesn't excite me. Kansas, you're supposed to beat Kansas. Arizona State would be close, but you beat them last year. So I don't know that I would say you're supposed to be in the Big 12 championship game at that point. Oklahoma State didn't win a conference game last year. Then there's the Kansas State Wildcats. That's got to be my answer. Only because of how your schedule lines up. Like, BYU could have been this answer, for sure. But Yeah, Kansas State.
Not surprising. I think I am more of a nervous Nelly than you two. My answer is West Virginia. Until you get to the point where there are no games and no chance that you are going to let this slip through your fingers, I won't believe it. So it's not West Virginia, the team, per se. It's at that point of the season. And obviously, if you're not on top, I wouldn't believe it. But if there's still a chance after you go through the tough 2 games that Chuck talked about with Kansas State and BYU at home, and you got 2 games left and you got a 2-game lead, I'm still nervous. TCU and Baylor happened last year where you should have. I mean, Baylor proved to be a good team. TCU ended up having a good record. I don't think they were a great team. You felt, Baylor at home didn't feel like you should have lost either one of those games. I think I'm just more nervous. And so until you finish on top or you be one of those top 2 teams, I think I'm not going to be comfortable. Not going to be that confident.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I'll have some confidence, but just not overly confident.
Maybe I misunderstood the question.
No, your answer was fine. Your answer makes sense. I just took it a different direction.
Okay.
Yeah, and Chuck's does too. Yeah.
The way I kind of took it was, when will I start to believe you can be in the Big 12 championship game? Would be beating Kansas State. I'm not sure even if I am already there. You're right.
You haven't beat anybody, and I believe you have a chance to be in the Big 12 championship game.
I
believe
I'm
that
full,
you should
full
be
agreement
a
on that.
favorite to be one of the 2 teams in the Big 12 championship game.
See, that's where I'm still holding the reins back.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
A couple notes here. Texas Tech has not won on the road at K-State since 2008. K-State's won 6 straight at home over the Red Raiders. However, the Red Raiders under Joey McGuire in the month of November are 9-3. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you guys do understand that you could lose to Kansas State and still make the Big 12 championship game.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are looking to snap an 8-game losing streak. And then with regard to West Virginia, Jamie, Texas Tech has won 5 of the last 6 games with the Mountaineers.
As again, I said a few minutes ago, it's really not West Virginia.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's that the regular
The last
season's
game of
over
the
and
year.
you're one of the top 2.
Yeah. No, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. So, but I mean, you could say, because somebody off the chat line says the game in Tempe with regard to Arizona State got in late. What was Jamie's question? The game that you'll feel
like once you have won it, you'll feel like, yep, we're gonna be in the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah. Somebody said the game in Tempe. Somebody says Viva 73. I agree with Jamie on the West Virginia but I think it's because of Rich Rodriguez and his experience, and he has some tricks up his sleeve that Joey McGuire's never thought about. I think all coaches have tricks up their sleeve. To say that the other guy hasn't thought about it, I mean, I don't know what you could do. That, I mean,
I like Joey's trick this year. Go get all the good players.
I mean, there's always the old onside field goal, okay, that could take place during a game. I'm being facetious.
How does that work, Chuck?
Well,
you just took 2 football terms and put them together.
Yeah. You
tried to pretend they made sense.
You go onside, and you instead of kicking it onside, you kick the field goal, but it's an onside field goal. Again, it was just meant to be funny, not serious.
Okay.
In terms of the old, what does Joey McGuire have up his sleeve that Rich Rodriguez doesn't have up his sleeve? I'm sure there's always something that there's there. We're aware both offense and defensive coordinators learning new systems doesn't happen overnight. Yeah, got it. They got big classrooms over there, and they got big fancy video boards inside their practice facility.
And that's worth giving you pause, no question about it.
And I would hope they have it down by November 1st.
Yeah.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz, come to you from the First United Bank studio. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line, Visual Edge IT hotline is open as well. We'll have softball on the air for you in about 3 hours as Texas and Tennessee play in Game 1. Texas wins, they advance on to play the winner of the Texas Tech-Oklahoma games potentially today in the College World Series, which would begin on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Should Texas lose to Tennessee, we'll have Game 2 for you as well. Both of those would be on 100.7 the score. Red Raiders play tonight at 5:30 for pregame and 6 o'clock for play-by-play tonight from Oklahoma City. They take on the four-time champ Oklahoma in Game 1. Should Oklahoma win, then there would be a Game 2. That game would start between 8 and 8:30 or so tonight. So these softball games have been going about an hour and a half or so.
Yeah, they go fast.
Barring any extra innings or anything.
Yeah, it seems like they've been longer than an hour and a half.
Okay, maybe so. Maybe so. I haven't timed it. It just seems like it goes by quickly.
It does, but there's been a lot of drama which has slowed down the games. There's been some extra inning affairs too. Yeah, it feels like it's a lot of action jam-packed into an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. But it's been fun. So are you so you're obviously going to root for Tennessee today. Are you intrigued by the drama of their assistant coach being our former head coach and really that being a little bit of a sticky situation with him leaving us last year and heading there, and now he's Tennessee's top assistant, and the drama that would bring about with Tech facing off with him?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. He left because we wouldn't hire his wife to be an assistant coach, right?
I think that's the rumor that we heard, right?
And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Okay, so who's our pitching coach now?
I couldn't tell you.
It's the head coach's daughter.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. The head coach's our head coach's daughter.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of that. Seems to have worked out so far, though, right?
There's no question. But Coach Snyder was also doing a great job too. You were one win away, you were the first team out. Yeah. And he also had the number one recruiting class in the country. Locked in and ready to go too. I am also with you and not being outraged about the whole, him moving on. Yeah. Okay. I'm there's nepotism. I think is real. Yeah. Okay. I absolutely think it's real, whether it be in a business world or a sports setting. I 100% believe it's real.
I wonder.
But again, they're a little bit different situation. Whatever. But that was always the rumor that we heard, that it was because he wanted to hire his, I think it was fiance at the time, right?
Yeah. I think they were getting ready to be married.
Texas Tech did not want that to happen. Yeah. Maybe the situation was they didn't think she was worthy.
Well, and I think
you know what I mean. It wasn't really truly that it's just your fiance. It's that we don't think that she's the right person for the job.
Right fit. And I think too they'd had some drama with that particular sport over the last couple of coaches. One that was more drama than the other. One coach, I think, got caught up in the vortex of the Marlene Stalling situation with women's basketball. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of spouses working together. With regard to father and daughter or father and son, I think that's a different dynamic than husband and wife.
Sure it is.
I think that's a more acceptable one than the emotion of the wife or the husband. What's going on there. Well, just the whole. It can get pretty catty pretty quick.
I think you said it really well when you said it's a different dynamic.
Yeah. I've worked in those situations before where a true situation where the son and the daughter-in-law worked for me, and the owner and his wife were heavily involved. And even though I was told that blood was not thicker than water, when I wanted to fire the daughter-in-law, I learned very quickly that, well, I was young, I was naive, and I learned that it was that blood was thicker than water.
Yeah, I think I'd question anybody who says it's not.
I know, but I mean, I was told.
Like I don't think that's anybody that's saying that they don't have extra care for their own family.
Yeah, I was told. Matter of fact, if you want to fire her, fire her. I'm like, okay, I want to fire him. It came down to the point where she needed to be fired, and anyway, it just it didn't work out. Chuck, you wouldn't work with a lucky lady? No, no, and she wouldn't work with me either. I don't think she would work with me either. Would you work with your wife?
Sure, I would.
You would? Okay.
Jamie, would you work with a lucky lady?
We're going to work together tonight in the friendship concession stand. How about that?
What do you? Oh, for basketball selling?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Selling like pickles and stuff like that.
Whatever. Yeah.
Hot dogs.
I don't think that my wife and I would have any problem working together. I wouldn't want her as my own personal secretary or anything.
Yeah.
But if she worked on the other side of the building and we weren't, it would not bother me at all.
I just don't think I could do that. I don't think the lucky lady could do that either.
You can't even work out with your wife.
I don't want to work out with any woman. Okay, I want to work out with me. I don't want to work out in a class. I want to have a trainer. I have a female trainer. I think female trainers are better for me than male trainers because male trainers want to bulk you up. Female trainers will listen to you and will put you in the cardio shape that you want to be in. But I do not want to be in a class. I do not want to work out with my wife. No, I do not.
How's the green eggs in the hand there, Chuck?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Thanks for lighting that torch, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you for that. So, yeah, no.
Anyway,
she wouldn't want to work with me either, I don't think.
We can't blame her.
Right.
I think it's an interesting dynamic with Tennessee and Coach Snyder and coaching against the Red Raiders if that became a possibility. Obviously, we want Tennessee to win because that means the Longhorns would lose.
Yeah,
and is real Red Raiders. That's what we always want.
I'd rather face Tennessee than the evil Empire.
I'd rather Texas lose every game.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Ultimately, you're playing in the national championship series if you got there, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you're playing.
It doesn't matter who you're playing.
I mean,
right.
Yeah, you're rooting against them. Mm-hmm. You hope it goes miserably for them.
Yeah.
It does not matter who it is. It could be Sister Teresa.
Yeah.
Her band of softball players.
Right. Whatever.
Take it to her, man.
Take it to the sister.
I mean, we'll be nice afterwards, but during the game, it's on.
Yeah.
Be nice when we're.
I don't care if the Pope's on your side or not. We're going to take you down.
Holding up our trophy. Take that, sister.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.